show today. Good morning and welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill, Unitarian Universalist. I'm Kathy Putnam, and I'm a member of the Worship Associates Ministry here at the church. And I especially want to welcome any visitors or newcomers who are with us today and call your attention to a special note for you. Welcome guests and newcomers, and it's on the back of your order of service. And I'd also like to welcome those of you attending online. The lyrics to the hymns and all the elements of the service may be found on the screen, and a complete order of service, including this week's announcements, is available via the link in the Sunday morning email and on the church website. Our in-person Sunday social is held immediately following the service, so just follow the crowds and you'll see where we have it. And now's a good time to turn off any cell phones or silence them if you haven't already done so we can maintain a worshipful experience. I have one announcement. After church, immediately, we take down all these beautiful decorations. So if you're able to stay and help us, that would be a big help. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. Now please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Okay, good morning, everybody. So for this song, since it is a very short hymn, I'll play it first by myself. We'll all sing it together for once. And then Larry and Amy are helping us out this morning. We'll split into a two-part round and do it twice after we all sing it together once. Larry will lead off this half of the room for the first part of it, and then Amy will come in with the rest of you two for the second part of it as we do a two-part round, and we'll do it twice. Okay?
As we come together today, the brightness of Christmas has begun to wane. The candles of Hanukkah and Kwanzaa are burning bright. As we ready ourselves to relinquish this passing year, we breathe out with a sigh of completion, a sigh of relief, and breathe in with an expectation of what is to come. But here we are, today, poised at both the end and the beginning, at a crossroads. Let us enjoy the stillness of the almost finished, not yet begun, let us consider what it means to ready ourselves for the who knows what that lies ahead. Let us reflect on who we are and why we make the choices we make. Let us prepare ourselves for the new year ahead. Come, let us worship together. You'll find the words to the chalice lighting in your order of service, and if you wish to do so, please join me in reading them. We light this chalice on the brink of a new year, letting go of what has been, open and hopeful for what may come, renewed, restored, ready to live life fully anew. May we move forward with intention.
Everything has its season, everything has its time. Show me a reason and I'll soon show you a rhyme. Cats fit on the windowsill, children fit in the snow. Why do I feel I don't fit in everywhere I go? Rivers belong where they can ramble. Eagles belong where they can fly. I got to be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner of the sky. Everyone has a daydream, everyone has a goal. People like the way dreams of us sticking to the soul. Thunderclouds have their lightning, nightingales have their song. And don't you see I want my life to be something more than long. Rivers belong where they can ramble. Eagles belong where they can fly. To be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner of the sky. So many of us seem destined to settle for something small, but I won't rest until I know that I've had it all. So don't ask where I'm going, listen when I'm gone, and far away you'll hear me singing softly to the dawn. Rivers belong where they can ramble, eagles belong where they can fly. I got to be where my spirit can run free. Gotta find my corner of the sky.
Each week, we take time in our service to consider the joys and sorrows of this congregation. If you have a personal joy or sorrow that you would like to share with us this morning, please come down to either side, place a stone in the water, come to the microphone, introduce yourself, And then in a few words or lines, share your joy or sorrow with us. Please enter into this time of tenderness with us as we listen.
I'm Marnie Goldschlag, and this is my husband, Trey Kennedy. And it's a great joy that tomorrow will be our 7th anniversary.
I'm Genevieve McGuffin, member of the church, and a very dear friend, passed away on the 23rd of December, John O'Corchin, after the most noble, incredible life and fight with cancer. And his family survives him. He has 2 wonderful sons, and they're well-adjusted and both being highly educated in universities. We'll miss him terribly.
I'm Wendy Jevons,
And I'm Amy Maddox.
and we turned 50 today. Our birthday buddy.
Hi, we're Linda and George Thompson. I have to speak because he has a touch of bronchitis he's still getting over. But we celebrated our 55th wedding anniversary yesterday by seeing the Bob Dylan film, A Complete Unknown, and it is just, it made us relive our time from 1969. So it was good.
Hi, everybody. I'm Savannah Gush. I am announcing my mom, Dr. Kimberly Gush's retirement from her medical practice that she's had for close to 20 years now. So if you can, wish her well and a happy retirement.
A final stone is placed for all of those joys and sorrows that were not spoken today, but are held just as deeply in our hearts. Let us give tremendous thanks for families celebrating anniversaries, birthdays, retirements, all the glorious things that we can share. We also consider loss of dear friends and family and the impact it has on their loved ones. During this time of the holidays, there is so much being together. There's also a part of missing those who are not with us, those who have gone before us, or those who could not be with us. And as we enter the new year, let's consider how grateful we are for those that are with us and those we get to share our love with every day. It's a blessing to have each other. I'm going to ask you to enter into a few moments of silence with me. Thank you. Amen.
Please remain seated for our sung meditation, number 1031, filled with loving kindness.
Okay, everybody will perform this just as it's written. I'll play it through once, and then we'll sing it together 3 times, conjugating just as it's written. I, you, and then we for the final verse, okay?
The reading this morning is a poem by Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though, as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled, and that has made all the difference.
Freely have we received of gifts that minister to our needs of body and soul. Gladly we bring to our church and its wide concerns a portion of this bounty. If you wish to donate online, there's a QR code on the back of the order of service, or there's information on the church's website. We'll now receive the morning offering.
That there's a reason why I need to be alone, so I can find a quiet place that I can call my home. Is it mine? Oh Lord, is it mine? You know I get so weary from the battles in this life, and as many times it seems that you're the only hope in sight. Is it mine? Oh Lord, is it mine? When everything's dark and nothing seems right, you don't have to win, and there's no need to fight. I never cease to wonder at the cruelty of this land, but it seems a time of sadness is a time to understand. Is it mine? Oh Lord, is it mine? When everything's dark and nothing seems right, you don't have to win, and there's no need to fight. I could find a way to feel your sweetness through the day. The love that shines around me could be mine. So give us an answer, won't you? We know what we have to do. There must be 1,000 voices trying to get through.
Well, friends, we have almost made it to the end of 2024. I think it's safe to say it's been an interesting year, one that has defied expectations. There have been wonderful times, magical times, what the heck just happened times. It's been a journey. And as this year ends and another one begins, we find ourselves at a crossroads. Traditionally, crossroads are considered to be places of high intensity. It's because it's a place where you can make decisions or meet something unexpected. It's a place for connecting with the spirit world. It's also a place where you can interact with fate. Statues of Hermes and Hecate were placed on crossroads in ancient times because they were considered a liminal space, a place between the realm of the living and the dead. They're also a place, according to folk tales, where a deal can be struck. And if you want something badly enough, you can get it at the crossroads. One of the most famous stories of crossroads in American folklore is the story of Robert Johnson, blues guitarist. Legend has it, Johnson was born in Mississippi in 1911 and moved around from place to place as a kid. He lived in the city, and then the country, and then the city. And all he wanted was to become a great blues guitarist. He played on street corners and in juke joints, anywhere that he could. Now, it was said by the other musicians at the time that he was a decent enough harmonica player, but he was an embarrassingly bad guitarist. Oh, this drove Johnson nuts. So he left town one day, and no one heard from him again for an entire year. But when he came back, he could play the guitar better than anyone had ever heard, ever imagined. People started to wonder, how did he get so good so quickly? Then the rumors started coming. Johnson, they say, was so desperate to become a great guitarist that he took himself down to the crossroads at midnight and started playing his guitar. The devil himself rolled up, took the guitar from Johnson, and started tuning it. And after he had tuned it just right, he handed the guitar back to Johnson. And with that, the bargain had been struck. Robert Johnson would become the greatest blues guitarist, and his soul became the property of the devil, never to be returned. And in reality, he did become famous. But poor Robert Johnson died at the age of 27. It's said he was poisoned by his girlfriend's husband. He did become a great guitarist, considered the father of rock and roll. But he spent his short life wandering, looking for love. So in the end, he didn't turn out to be a very good bargain after all. To clear things up, for the record, the descendants of Johnson deny this story absolutely. The facts of his life do not line up, and the original story is that a man named Tommy Johnson sold his soul. But the story resonates so deeply because it tells a story of someone who gave away the most precious part of themselves, their soul, for something fleeting and ultimately not satisfying. It is possible to get what you think you want and still get bitten in the end. We may not literally walk to a crossroad and make a deal with the devil. We don't sign a contract with our blood like Faust did, but we make compromises in everyday life, sometimes without even being aware of what it is that we're doing. I met a man who knew that he was going to die. He was wearing a hat that said Vietnam veteran across the front. And I smiled at him, and he invited me to sit down. And I sat with him for a while, and he began to tell me all about himself. He said that he was a sad, lonely man. No kids, no friends, no girlfriend, no wife. His family never liked him. For his job, he worked at a cafeteria making sandwiches and salads early in the morning, and left before anyone else came to work. There was a cat that came to his yard once in a while, and he fed that when he could. His only friend in the world was Rush Limbaugh, and he listened to him every day on the radio until Rush Limbaugh passed away. And then he said there was nothing else in his life. And my heart broke for this man. Members of my family served during Vietnam, and I told him I understood how hard it could be to come back. So we shared stories and we talked away for a while. And after a long time, he started to get shaky. He seemed nervous. And then he asked me if I would hold his hand. And I did. And as he told me more about himself, he kept making this very strange face. It was contorted in a way that I had never seen anybody make a face like that before. Finally, I asked him if there was something he wanted to tell me. After a long pause, he made a very peculiar face. And then he let out a really soft, guttural moan. He squeezed my hand really hard. And then he told me that he's never said this before. He doesn't know how to say it now. Slowly, he told me that he really wanted to serve overseas. He wanted to be a hero fighting in Vietnam. He wanted to show his family what he was made of. But he was deemed unfit to serve in combat. It was humiliating for him after he told everyone he was going off to war. He was stationed at a camp in the US, but at that camp they were testing Agent Orange, and he got sick from it. One day, a few years later, he was sitting in a bar talking about his treatment. A man overheard him. The man walked up, put a drink in front of him, patted him on the back and said, "Thank you for your service, brother. We are proud of you." He'd been feeling so lonely, so low. He couldn't believe that someone said that they were proud of him. He couldn't think straight. He just smiled and nodded his head. He was at the crossroad. He silently took a sip of that drink, and in that moment, his deal was struck. From that point on, he didn't correct people when they assumed that he had been to Vietnam. And over time, he started telling his own stories, getting deeper and deeper into the lie until he couldn't figure out what was true himself. Once he started, he didn't know how to get out of it. And that lie ate away at his soul and shamed him until it crushed him completely. It separated him from the world. But on that day, sitting with me, he was at another crossroad between life and death. And he made a different choice. He told the truth for the first time. And after a little silence, he asked me if I could forgive him. And this was hard for me, but I said yes. Then he asked me if I could love him. And again, I said yes. And with that, he burst into heaving sobs. And after a while, his face began to relax. Tears were streaming down his face, but he was also beginning to smile. I think he had reclaimed his soul in that moment. I don't know what happened to him after. I never saw him again. But I remember that smile, and it makes me believe that it is never too late to make a different choice. That redemption is always possible. there are other crossroads in one's life. Ones that come upon us and change the course of our lives unexpectedly. There may be an accident of some kind. There can be a tragic loss. There can also be a surprising adventure or an exciting new love. We don't choose these crossroads. They choose us. So, what matters most is who we are. What is our character? That is what decides how we face these new realities when they come. How do we keep going and make the next good choice? Maya Angelou says that there is a place in you must keep inviolate. You must keep it pristine, clean, so that nobody has the right to curse you or treat you badly. Nobody, no mother, no father, no wife, husband, nobody. Because that may be the place that you go to when you need God. You have to have a place where you say, stop it, back up, absolutely no. You say no when it's no, back it up. Because there is a place that has to remain clean and clear. There is a place inside your soul that nobody has a right to invade. You say, back up. Don't you know I am a child of God? When I hear this, I think maybe we can go one step further. We must keep a place inviolate, pristine, clean from ourselves. There must be a line we don't ever cross or betray within ourselves. Because when we cross that line, it damages us more deeply than anyone or anything ever could. I like to think of this sacred place in us as a moral garden. I don't know how to envision a soul, but I can envision a garden. A place where we tend to our values and our ideals, where we nurture them and raise them with tenderness and care as any gardener would. We give them sunlight and water. We spend time. We enjoy the beauty of it and when it is healthy, and we take action when it is not. Our moral garden is where our choices come from, who we are, what we want, not just in the moment, but our true nature and character. The deepest want that shapes the arc of our entire lives. The Crossroads is a place of infinite possibilities. It's a place to pray for our deepest hopes and to be on guard for possible mistakes. But as we stand before it on the precipice, we're in a stillness, not called to take any action just yet. It's in this time, in this moment, that we take stock. We take inventory of ourselves. We assess the condition of our moral garden. When we worry about the future, what may be coming, we may envision some particular events, and we steel ourselves for these events. But what may happen may be completely different from what we expect. We may be caught completely unprepared, off guard. It's in this lack of preparedness that things can get awfully tricky. It's in those shadow places where we don't really know ourselves that we can make mistakes. So for this, we ready ourselves on a different level. Sometimes we act in ways that surprise even ourselves, and we do something and wonder, why did I do that? What happened? How did I get here? In the story of Oedipus, he meets a carriage at the crossroad. There's an altercation, and he loses his temper. And in this state, he kills a group of men for no good reason. And in that group is his own father. His fate was shifted in a moment of rage. We all make mistakes. And it can be tempting to say that the devil or an evil spirit or something wrong with the universe made us do it, but saying this doesn't help very much. And it certainly doesn't help prevent things from happening in the future. The fault lies within us, and so does the power to change. Always the power to change. In Robert Johnson's song, Crossroad, he sings, "I went to the crossroad. I fell down on my knees. I went to the crossroad and I fell down on my knees and I asked the Lord above, have mercy. Now save poor Bob if you please." What about the good choices we make? What about those times we act from our heart and sometimes something wonderful happens? We get into the school of our dreams, or we get the job that we hoped for. We get a partner that makes everything in our life better. There is something magical about making that initial choice, entering onto a blessed path. But then we have to keep making good choices. Who we are will dictate how we honor those choices, if we act with integrity, honesty, and loyalty. For those of us who try to live a life shaped by values and ideals, it can be tricky. It certainly is for me. I know what I believe in my head and in my heart, but my actions do not always align. It isn't as easy as I would like it to be, and when those times come up, I need to go back and tend to my garden, or else I'm going to get myself into some kind of trouble, and I will not like myself very much. So what is the good news? Or what should be our plan? First of all, we should not be afraid of the future. It may be difficult and it may be challenging, but it's in our power to make the right decisions. And second, we may make mistakes. We all do. But there are often the possibilities to correct those mistakes. We don't have to feel trapped by the choices we have made in the past. We have the opportunity to take inventory of who we are and what we truly believe in. What are our values and how do they translate into our daily lives? And finally, we will be more successful if we do this together. Let's make our moral garden a community garden. Let's benefit from each other's strengths and shore up each other's weaknesses. No one choice stands alone. The accumulation of our actions will have a ripple effect upon the ocean of life. I wish you all a safe and healthy new year. And I know that whatever may come, we will hold on to each other. We will hold on to our parents and our grandparents, and we will hold on very tightly to our children and our grandchildren. We will hold on to neighbors and friends, and ultimately, we will hold steadfast to ourselves. We will rise up, and we will do what is required of us, and we will do what it is that we are called to do. May it be so. Amen. Blessed be. Our closing hymn this morning is number 1024, When the Spirit Says Do.
Okay, Larry and Amy are going to help us out again. And again, we will play this exactly as it's written. I'll do a short introduction, after which they'll lead you into the verses, and we're going to go through a whole series of verbs here. We're going to sing, we're going to dance, we're going to laugh, we're going to shout, and then we're going to do it again to wrap it up.
And please stand in body or spirit if you are called to do so. Apologies.
Wow. The words for extinguishing the chalice are in your order of service. Please join me in saying them. This flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Now is our time to thank everyone who made this service so special. And just a quick reminder to help us degreen after the service. Now it's time to sing Shalom. The words are in your order of service. If you feel comfortable, hold your hands out to the person next to you, or you may cross them across your heart.
Thank you.